Okay, I want you to think for a second. Is there a conversation you've been putting off? You know the one. Maybe it's with your boss who you feel is totally overlooking you, or your partner after a big fight, or maybe a friend who really broke your trust. It's that one conversation that's just wrapped up in so much emotion and tension that you don't even know where to start.
Wow, that quote from Desmond O'Neill just hits hard, right? They live in the shadows of your mind. He calls them dark conversations, and that's exactly what they feel like, this weight that follows us around. The big question is, how do we finally drag them out into the light? Well, turns out there's a way.
So the first thing to get is that we all have these. It's a universal human thing. The key isn't to get better at avoiding them, it's to learn how to walk into them with a strategy. And the strategy we're about to unpack, well, it comes from a pretty unexpected place.
And get this, the advice we're digging into today isn't from some academic in an ivory tower. It comes from Desmond O'Neill, a guy who spent 3 decades in the trenches of high-stakes communication. We're talking interrogating suspects, questioning cops in internal affairs, serving on SWAT teams. This isn't just theory, it is a battle-hardened, real-world strategy.
So what's the secret? How do the pros handle conversations that would make the rest of us sweat? Well, here's the thing. They don't just wing it. They use a simple, easy-to-remember framework to stay in control, not of the other person, but of themselves.
And here it is. It's called the PLAN framework. That's it. Purpose, listen, ask, and next steps. This little acronym is your secret weapon for navigating all that emotional turbulence and keeping the conversation from going completely off the rails. Let's break down each piece.
All right, let's dive in. P is for purpose, and honestly, this is the most important step of all. Before you say a single word, you have to know your mission. Why are you even having this conversation? What is the one single thing you absolutely need to achieve?
Now, why is this so critical? Well, it comes down to something called multiple goals theory. The idea is that in any conversation, we're secretly juggling 3 different goals. There's the task, like get this project done. There's our identity, wanting to look smart or be seen as right. And then there's the relational goal, which is all about keeping the peace and maintaining the relationship. And this slide just lays it out so clearly. On the left, you've got a sports team. Everyone's goals are aligned. Winning the game helps the team, makes you look good, and builds camaraderie. But look at the right. You decide to correct your boss in a big meeting. Sure, you might satisfy your identity goal of being right, but you could totally torpedo the relationship goal, and that's when things get ugly.
So think of it this way. Your purpose is your anchor in a stormy sea. When the other person starts throwing insults or getting aggressive, that anchor is what stops you from getting dragged off course into a pointless fight. You can't get distracted by the need to win if you remember your real purpose is, say, to actually fix the relationship.
Okay, so you've got your purpose. Now let's move on to the next 2 letters, which kind of go together. L and A. Listen and ask. This is all about gathering information, and it's where, let's be honest, most of us completely blow it.
Man, this Stephen Covey quote just nails it, doesn't it? We're not really listening, we're just reloading. We're just waiting for them to take a breath so we can jump in and make our point. But here's the secret. Real control in a conversation comes from listening, not from talking.
And there's actually a really cool scientific reason for this. We talk at about 150 words per minute, but our brains can process info way faster, at like 600 words per minute. All that extra brain power, that cognitive bandwidth, is why our mind starts to wander. We start planning our comeback instead of actually hearing what they're saying. That's why true listening takes real, conscious effort. So if we're so bad at listening, how much do we actually get what other people are thinking? Well, the research on what's called empathy accuracy is kind of shocking. We correctly guess what a stranger is thinking only 20% of the time. For our friends, just 30%. And even for our romantic partners, we're only hitting 40%. We think we know, but the data says we're mostly wrong.
But wait, it gets so much worse. When a conversation gets emotional, which by definition is what these dreaded conversations are all about, our empathy accuracy absolutely plummets. It can drop as low as 15%. At that point, assuming you know what the other person is thinking is basically a wild guess in the dark.
So, what's the fix? It's almost ridiculously simple. Just ask questions. Stop assuming. When they say something vague, instead of filling in the blank yourself, just ask, hey, what do you mean by that? When you ask questions, you're not just getting clarity, you're showing them you actually care enough to understand.
And that brings us to the final piece of our puzzle, N, for next steps. You know that awful feeling when a tough conversation just ends and nothing's resolved?
This is how you avoid that. This is how you close the loop and actually move forward.
The magic word here is we. The goal is to make the solution feel like a team effort. You ask a question like, okay, so how do we want to resolve this? Or what does a good path forward look like for both of us? See how that works? It's not a list of your demands, it's a shared project.
Okay, before we wrap up, I've got a quick bonus round for you, because sometimes knowing what not to do is just as powerful. Here are 3 communication habits you need to drop like right now. First one, stop trying to be right. Seriously, the second you make it a battle of who's right, you've already lost. Your ego has hijacked the mission, and you've forgotten your real purpose.
All right, number 2, and this one might surprise you. Stop saying, I understand. I know, it sounds helpful, right? But think about it. You can understand their words, sure, but you can never, ever fully understand their unique, personal, emotional experience. A lot of times when you say, I understand, you're actually shutting them down.
And number 3, stop handing out opinions that nobody asked for. Most of the time when people are upset, they just want to be heard. They want someone to sit in the mud with them for a minute, not tell them how to get out. Unless they explicitly ask, what do you think I should do? Just listen.
You know, when you boil it all down, it comes back to this one powerful idea from our source. If you lose your cool, you lose control. Every single part of this plan framework is designed for one thing, to help you keep your cool, so you can stay in control of the one person you can actually control in that room, yourself.
And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? This isn't about manipulating someone or winning an argument. It's about self-regulation. The real win is staying anchored to your purpose and handling yourself with integrity, no matter how crazy the other person gets. So let me ask you, what's one conversation, maybe one that's been living in the shadows of your mind, that you can approach differently now that you have a plan?